And we also had the Africa Freedom Day. Every time this comes up, it's a time of reflection on many African countries that declared themselves independent and struggled to be independent. And in the spirit of the African Union, the central theme is hinged on education. And what is coming out is an aspect of course, the type of education that is resilient. In other words, the type of education system that can stand the test of time, where you teach people information that can be used sustainably over a period of time, and that information can be of help to society. And this comes at a time when Zambia has free education, because in it there is an issue of having equal access. Okay? Not just equal access, but quality education. How do you realize quality education? There are a number of issues. It is not just about the curriculum. It is also about the learning environment. I think this now gives rise as to whether government is doing the correct thing in the area of CDF to provide the desks, given the rising number of pupils in classrooms. Meaning, obviously, that is a positive towards achieving quality education. Because for us to get quality education, we need those desks that are locally produced. And those desks are not only locally produced, they are obviously coming with certain economic benefits for those that are making them. In other words, they are creating employment. We had very few, people that were skilled in carpentry until we started talking about skills training by constituency. And tied to this idea is the idea of those trade schools that have been opened, one in Porokoso and the other one in Lundazi, scheduled for commissioning soon. That is the way to go, because skills training, the skills that are acquired are survival skills. They help people, even those that have never been to school, have certain skills that can be used for survival and for producing certain things such as desks, because most of these can be understood or learned as an art. But again, it's also important for me to mention that the idea of having millions of pupils getting into school is something that is a positive for the country, because education is the greatest equalizer, which would enable even a poor citizen who may have the intellectual capability but they may not have the financial muscle to get to class and later on dine with kings. We've seen what education has done for many of us, where you move from zero to hero. Without education, we would not be where we are today. And some of us were privileged to have these bursaries before it could be translated into a loan, because then somebody thought about Maximo. If Mark had no money, the University of Zambia is one of the most expensive universities we have in the country. He was not going to make it, but government had to set aside money for his meal allowances, money for his projects, money for his accommodation, money also for meal allowances, they say. So, in the absence of that, I wouldn't be talking in the manner that I would talk, and I'd grasp certain theological and ideological issues in the manner that theoretical and ideological issues in the manner that they would be discussed. So, education brings in a certain dimension of creativity, because you can now come up with certain things that don't exist. That's what it does. Then education also makes you think fast. That's the difference between a person who is educated and who is not educated. Because what education does, Chifokolo, is that the entire educational hierarchy from grade 1 or from preschool or early childhood education to tertiary level is filled with nothing but problem solving. What they give you in the exam is a problem. They want you to sort it out by providing the answer, because life is about problem solving. There is no relish, there must be a solution. There is no employment, you must look for a way of surviving. So that is what education does. It makes you think fast. It makes you have the capacity to resolve different problems when you are confronted with different situations. At tertiary level, where you deal with theories, the idea is to understand how to deal with certain situations that may be different from what you are used to. What am I talking about? The COVID-19. All those that we are doing medicine learned simply about the theories of viruses. They did not know one day a virus called the COVID-19 would exist. So they only learned about the behavior of a virus, what it does and how it behaves, what treatment is available for a virus, and how the mutation takes place and the changes. Then those theories can be applied to different situations. That's what life is all about. So this particular Africa Freedom Day comes so handy for this country in the region, that now children are free to access education. That is the interpretation. It comes in so timely that in Zambia it is now dependent on the parents to keep their children home or to tell them to go to school. So it is well placed for this country, because you are free to go to school. Children are free to go to school. They will not be stopped by their economic status. That's what it means. I wish to end it there.